everyone, and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I've given you two of my strongest tips for tomorrow's racing. Now, before we get into that, I just want to go through a couple of things with you. If you haven't listened to the latest episode of the In the Saddle podcast, where our regular Paul Callaghan caught up with US racing trainer Keri Brion, if you want to listen to it, there'll be links to it in the description box below. We've got all the major podcast platforms covered, including the likes of Apple, Spotify and SoundCloud, so whichever one takes your fancy, make sure you give it a listen. Also as well, before I give you the tips tomorrow, quickly just want to reflect on how our picks have performed today. In the end, it's been a good day here on the YouTube channel, as at the current time of recording, just after 4:30, we've had two winners on the channel. We had a winning nap with Lord Oberon, just got the job done in the end, just to battle out fancy footing, so that was a nice performance there. Advertised at 5-2, but a lot of people were on him and he was well backed into 6-4 favourites, so hope some of you were on the bigger prices there. Also as well, we had a nice next best winner with Envoy Perigee. I've got to admit that was a bit of a nervous watch at Down Royal. You know, he was always travelling quite well, but I was a bit concerned at one point he might not just follow through and go and do the job, but in the end he got a good jump at the last and he just rallied strongly and in the end just got the better of his rivals. He'd been a horse that I put up a couple of times here on my YouTube channel recently when he had been entered, but for various reasons he either didn't run or the meeting was abandoned. So yeah, it was good that he finally got his deserved win, because like I said, he was really eye-catching last time out, so that was a nice one for us there. We still do have one to run tonight at Chelmsford. That's Globe Theatre in the 7 o'clock, so fingers crossed he can go well for us. And the only horse that did disappoint for us today was Springfield Fox at Wincanton. That was the last chance saloon today. I didn't really see anything of note really that I thought was really encouraging. I thought he was really disappointing. To be fair, he never got his own way up in front, which I just think is key to him. But yeah, he's going to be a horse that is going off my list now, and I'm going to forget about until he probably pops up at a big price and wins, and I go, why didn't I back him? But yeah, Springfield Fox, no more for me. The project's over with him. So yeah, that's how our selections went today. So yeah, like I said at the top of the show, two tips for tomorrow's racing. And we're going to be going to Catterick for the first one of them tomorrow. Now, I believe they don't have an inspection tomorrow, but it is going to be testing ground. But I found one here that I think will go really well in the 1:30, and obviously it's handicap chase. And my next best of the day is going to be a horse called Palixandre for Jonathan and Sam England. At the current time of recording, you can back this horse out 11-1. That was with William Hill, and I'm going to recommend a 0.5 each way selection here. Now, I actually backed this horse last time out, small stakes each way at Market Raisin, and he ran well for a long way, and I thought he was going to go and at least make the frame, but he just folded in the closing stages. That was over 2.5 miles that day, but he still shaped better than the bare result of that performance. Also as well, if you go back to his run at Catterick on his penultimate start, he ran well there in a higher grade behind Richard Hobson's the Forgotten One that had some good form next to his name. Okay, yes, he was well beaten on paper, but that was a lot stronger race. And he's been running, like I said, really well. Now, he started off the season off a mark of 112. He's now down to a mark of 96. He was actually dropped 4 pounds for the latest run. I think that's a very workable mark. And his last two runs have been going over slightly further compared to tomorrow's trip, where he's going to be running over 2 miles. And I just think the drop back in trip will really suit him tomorrow. He's been a strong travelling type. And I think the sharp nature of Catterick will also suit him. The ground shouldn't be a problem as well. And I think off a mark of 96, he can be very capable of holding his own in this race. And I think 11-1 is quite a big price about him. So that's why I'm going to recommend him as my next best of the day. Just a 0.5 each way selection, but I'll be disappointed if he couldn't go close and at least make the frame. So that's going to be my next best of the day. We then go to Newcastle for the first race there for the nap in the 4:15, and I thought Starfighter here for Kevin Stott and Mark Loughnane could go very well. Now this horse, he hasn't won for quite a while. His last win actually came at Salisbury in 2019, and his overall profile throughout his career hasn't been a winning one. He's only won from 24. So yeah, that is maybe a bit concerning for some of you. However, I think he's been running better than some of his results have shown. And I think off a mark of 68, he's more than capable in a race of this nature to go very well. Now, he's currently 11-1 at the time recording. I'm going to recommend a 1 point each way selection here. But like I said, if you analyse some of his last couple of starts, he's been going really well. Also as well, his yard have been going quite nicely too. They're operating at a 26% strike rate, Mark Loughnane, going great guns. at the moment. And Kevin Stott is also an interesting jockey booking too. He's only ridden for Mark twice during his career, but one of them was a winner, so I don't know if you should read too much into that, probably not. But yeah, this horse, Starfighter, if you go back and watch its last few runs, I thought it ran really well at Lingfield last time on a track that wouldn't have suited him. He prefers a stiff track, because if you look at his best performances during his career, they've come on stiff tracks, and the speedy, sharp nature of Lingfield I just don't think would have suited him. But he still had a good chance in the straight, you know, and he did stick to the task quite well. But I don't like normally front runners at Lingfield. I always like the closers normally, because that's the way it normally goes, and you normally have a horse that hits the front and you go, please line come, and in the end you just often can get chin. So yeah, I think he ran quite well at Lingfield, and he wasn't that far beaten. Also as well, if you go back to a run here in the autumn when Ray Dawson was booked, he ran really well in that race at Newcastle when he finished 5th. Again, he wasn't too far beaten, but that was over a mile that day, and he just shaped that 10 furlongs would probably be his ideal trip. He was up there, he was handy, and he did plug on well, but just got outpaced, but still wasn't that far beaten. Also as well, what will be interesting tomorrow is how the track's riding at Newcastle. If you were watching the track earlier in the week, when they had the Jumpers Bumpers card, he was running, the horses there that were running, the ones that were making the frame were going up there at the front, and they were staying there, you know. It was quite hard to peg back, and when the track is often standard to slow at Newcastle, it can often favour, I think, front runners, and it's definitely a trend I think you should keep an eye on. And I just think with his style of racing, he likes to be up there with the pace. There's a lot of things in his favour tomorrow to run a really big race, and I think 11-1 is a nice juicy price about him, and he's got not a bad draw to work from as well in stall 4. So a lot of positives for Starfighter tomorrow. I think he'll go really well, and that's why he's going to be my nap of the day. So quickly just recap then, my next best of the day is in the 1:30 at Catterick. That's Palixandre, 11-1 each way, 0.5, and then my nap of the day is going to be in the 4:15 at Newcastle. Starfighter, 11-1, 1 point each way as the nap of the day. So they're the two best bets for tomorrow's racing. If you're enjoying these videos, please remember to hit the thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe here to my YouTube channel. Also as well, if you want to follow me on Twitter, that's the best place to do so, on social media, where my handle is at LuckyLoader15. And if you want to find out a little bit more about myself, my website address is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So please game responsibly. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.